Hello, users, and welcome to this is an impromptu video. A couple of people have sent me this video that I'm about to review here. I missed this. This happened on Thursday. I missed it for my show yesterday. People want to know my thoughts on this. Because I briefly touched upon it on twitter.com against my best judgment, logging on to twitter.com. So now people want me to expand upon it. And, of course, we're talking about the third-party grift or no grift from Cornel West. Now, you can watch this whole Democracy Now! Thing. I'm gonna watch a couple, points here when Amy Goodman, specifically asks him about some things about his campaign video. I'm probably going to also just turn this on to like 1.25x. So again, I talked about this when he announced his run. I made some fiery statements. I personally, at this point in time, well, let me just again. So on Tuesday or whatever it was, Monday, I don't remember, I said I think it's 50-50. I think it's a toss-up. Is he grifting? Is he in on the scam? Well, here's the reality check. It's a scam. The People's Party is a scam. That's a fact. So the two possibilities out of that, imagine a flowchart, is Cornel West is just dumb as shit when it comes to this kind of stuff, which it's Cornel West, right? Like, can we, come on. Or he's in on the scam. Because what else, and also, just to be clear, do I think that Cornel West is actively thinking, I'm scamming these guys, I'm cashing in on my legacy? No, I don't think that. But what I do think is he is ignoring certain things, making certain kinds of alliances that aren't necessarily beneficial to him or anyone else for his own kind of weird personal vanity project. If Cornel West wanted to do anything actually serious with this run, he would run as a Democrat. He would run against Joe Biden, because that would be the best way to do a messaging campaign. Look at Bernie Sanders. What did he do? He ran against Hillary Clinton. Look at Jill Stein. What did she do? She ran in the Green Party. Now no one knows anything about her. By the way, she just stole a bunch of money and left. I mean, that's the thing about third parties. It's all a scam. But the other thing about the People's Party is the People's Party is just such an obvious scam. They've gotten called out for being a scam. They've just admitted to scamming people several times, right? So it's just like the idea that this guy, we are supposed to believe that this guy is just so stupid and just hasn't logged on to the internet since 2016 or 17 or something. I'm sorry, I don't believe that. This is an adult person. This is a grown-ass motherfucking man, as some people say. So, with all that being said, I'm going to play some of this. I don't know how long this is going to be. I also would just got to say, I got really high last night. I watched Uncut Gems. I mean, that's a masterpiece right there. So if you haven't seen Uncut Gems, check it out. Also watch Good Time, same directors. So just, bear that in mind. So right here, Amy Goodman is about to ask him about Joe Rogan. And I saw the Leftist Mafia did a little bit of coverage on this. And again, I missed it. I would have covered this on Friday, but I missed it on Friday, they did not cover this part. They fast forwarded a little bit. They got like a show to do or whatever. But I think it's important to play the context in this clip because Cornel West is about to contradict himself and, in my opinion, kind of look like a lot hypocritical, given what we know about the People's Party and how he answers these questions. And again, if Cornel West is unable to handle, I don't want to say Amy Goodman's throwing softballs, but she is throwing maybe a curveball, possibly, but in the softest way imaginable. So if he can't handle this campaign's dead on arrival. Imagine if Cornel West came on my show or something, and I asked him these questions. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying he's going to come on my show. He wouldn't, because that would not benefit him, because it's not part of his grifting network. That's why he's too busy going on Kim Iverson's show and Russell Brand's show, because that's part of his grifting network. Anyway, let's go.
Andrea and others actually pull their music from Spotify. She would later put it back on and said she felt like she had accomplished a lot.
We're talking about Joe Rogan here, by the way.
Pointing out what he was doing, especially in using the N-word. Can you talk about why you featured him in your campaign ad?
Well, one, it's an attempt to show that we have to have a realignment, which means you have to be able to speak to people you have some deep disagreements with.
So this is like the crux of this guy's, like, in my opinion, right? Like, this is like the crux of it. He's like one of these guys that's like, okay, so we need to have a realignment. And what that means is we raise money for Nazis, fascists, and right-wingers. And I, as like a very, very prominent left-wing philosopher or intellectual, am going to just spend all of my time and energy talking to right-wingers. And also, by the way, just going to talk about how great they are. Like, if you watch his Russell Brand show appearance, which I haven't, but a couple people have sent me some stuff about it. I don't know if I could sit through that one. I'm sorry, but... You know, he's like praising him. He's like, Russell Brand, you're great. You're so great. Oh my God, I watch your show every day. And it's like, you know, like that's not what a realignment is. Like, yes, I agree. We should be able to talk to people that have political differences. A realignment is like not looking at right wingers and going, OMG, I love your show. I watch it every day. That is not a realignment. Okay. Okay. That is a realignment, but that is not like, that is, you know, that's not exactly what he's trying to save face on. But
And I mean, Brother Joe Rogan, he said a number of things that I have, deep disagreements with. I don't think that censorship, for the most part, is the proper or appropriate way.
So he's doing this censorship thing. And this is why I wanted to play this, because he's about to be asked about the People's Party next. And that's going to be the meat of this. As a vegetarian, I still need to come up with a better metaphor for that. But censorship. Now, again, what did the People's Party do when Nick Brana's sexual harassment allegations came forward? Did the People's Party have a fair and balanced investigation into it and then determine based on the merits of the case? No. They just literally banned every person from the People's Party Slack. They banned people from the board, which isn't even... That's not how boards work. You know what I mean? Like, the whole point of a board is so that you have, like, a decentralized kind of people have to vote and people have to... That's the whole point. You can't just have a board and then just say, hi, my name's Nick Brana. I'm just going to ban several members of the board for asking me a question. That's literally what happened in the People's Party, right? So the People's Party loves censorship. They censored their own board members, right? So, again, this is why the hypocrisy angle to me... it's undeniable that Cornel West, at the very least, is undergoing hefty amounts of cognitive dissonance. But at this point, I mean, to me, maybe you can say I'm jumping the gun. I say grifter. Imagine this is like, the Family Feud game show. You have the red X, pop up, like grifter. Just someone, edit a clip for that for me. But, I want to explain my piece, and I want to allow Cornel West to do whatever. So let's keep going.
I really don't. I think that people must be free to express themselves, but you would hope that they would have respect for others, especially black folk, indigenous peoples, gay brothers, lesbian sisters, Jews, Muslims, Arabs.
Now, again, just note that, yes, Cornel West says, now, I am a person that fundamentally believes that actions speak louder than words. Actions express your priorities. If you prioritize realigning with right-wingers over transgender people, gay people, black people, immigrants, whatever, that's telling, right? And so in this instance, that's what I'm seeing. Cornel West is a lot of talk right now. Yes, I love these people, I love those people, and he's joining a party. Nick Brana, who, by the way, again, another part is he's a guy who's like, I think white people should be allowed to say the N-word whenever they want. He's also a guy that says trans people are too woke, they're blah, 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 trans people are predators, this kind of stuff Nick Brana has said. Nick Brana's even said Martin Luther King Jr. would agree with Ron DeSantis and be anti-woke. Like, I mean, these people are unhinged. Like, we really need to fundamentally understand that the People's Party are unhinged Looney Tunes lunatics. Like, these are some crazy motherfuckers, okay? Right? So, again, he's going to talk a big game here when it comes to Joe Rogan, but this next question, and the reason why I wanted to play this one, and you can watch the whole interview, there's a lot of it, but the reason why I wanted to play this part here is just because, again, the blatant flip. One question is censorship is wrong. The other question is, I love my brothers at the People's Party. It's like,
those who traditionally have been degraded. But I think it's very important that we have conversations across ideological and political lines, and therefore they're going to say sometimes some things that we have to call into question. We keep them accountable. I'm glad that the great Indian Ari did that. That's a beautiful thing. That she has a right to do that as well, to keep him accountable. But I am suspicious of this censorship, because usually the censorship.
But also keep in mind, what's the censorship? Like, what is this censorship that he's talking about? He's like, I am suspicious of the censorship. The censorship. Joe Rogan got censored. Joe Rogan. Yeah, he got censored. You know, compared to, I don't know, the people who got sexually harassed at the People's Party got fired. The board members who were like, there's something fishy here, who got fired. They didn't get censored. That's just democracy playing out in real time. Joe Rogan, yeah, he got censored big time. You may not have heard about it because, you know, he's on Spotify still. He still has millions of followers. People still share his clips everywhere. You might not have heard that he got canceled and censored, but yep, real bad. He got censored big time. Like, and again, this is like one of those things where it's like, I'm sorry, fundamentally, like, I can't respect Cornel West. I'm sorry. Like, I know, whatever, blah, 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 history, blah, blah, blah. You know, he was great in The Matrix too, but I'm sorry, man. Like, it's over for you. Like, I mean, this is over. Grifter, alert. This is a red alert, motherfucker. I don't know what else to say, but let's keep going.
Censorship, in the end, zeroes in on freedom fighters, love warriors, the wounded healers. You think of the great Paul Robeson. You think of Claudia Jones. You think W.B. Du Bois. You think of Luisa Moreno, who I'd mentioned, one of the greatest of the Latino.
I just want to say, like, this is called Gish Gallop, my friends. Now, I know it's Cornel West. A lot of people, you got that soft spot, and I know, I'm sorry. I'm here to break it for you. This is called Gish Gallop, right? This guy's just like, let me name, like, 5,000 different, like, black leaders and authors and indigenous rights activists, and if I just say their names a couple times and then do this, you know, I'm thinking, look how hard I'm thinking, you know, then maybe all of the problems will go away. So, and again, am I saying that Cornel West is intentionally, now, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is in on the scam. What I'm saying, he's in on the take, right? Whether or not he views it that way, whether or not it's like, I am scamming my people, like, I don't think he believes that. I really don't. I think he's got some hardcore copium going on. I think he's got some major justifications, but that doesn't change the fact that he is in on the scam. He knows what's going on. He knows all this stuff, and he's doing it anyway. Now, and again, we're jumping into the big part of this. I don't even know how long this video is going to be. I might as well have just done a whole show, but, you know, whatever the fuck. Anyway. You know,
freedom fighters, in the last 150 years, who was deported to Guatemala because she supposedly had communist associations and so forth. So that kind of censorship is something that I'm very, very...
Like, okay, and also, did he just, like, compare someone being deported for being communist to Joe Rogan? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I mean, this guy, like, I'm sorry, like, whatever it is, history, you read his books, I gotta say, I've seen Cornel West in person at a rally before. He's great. He's got that good energy. But, I mean, motherfucker, what? Someone who got deported to Guatemala for being a communist, like, 100 years ago, pretty much the same thing as one of the biggest podcasters saying a bunch of racist shit, and then someone saying, hey, that's unacceptable, right? Like, this, the censorship at play here is just dangerous. I mean, it just reminds me of, you know, really the ultimate kinds of, like, I'm just trying to, like, what the fuck is going on through this guy's head? And, like, I'm sorry, like, anyone out there defending this guy at this point in time, like, if you're defending him, like, 5 years ago, whatever, it's a whole different story. Defending him at this point in time, I mean, just what are you doing? I know. Like, just what are you doing? And I get it. I understand. It's difficult, blah, blah, blah. You read his books. You know, there's a lot of people, I read their books. You know, recently, Richard Dawkins came out. I love Richard Dawkins when I was in school. Richard Dawkins came out and was like, oh, trannies. I hate the trannies. I'm like, okay, whatever. Fuck you. Like, it's not that hard. You know, you read someone's books. You like them when you're young. You know, you get some good ideas. And then they start saying some crazy shit. It happens all the fucking time, right? So, again, you know, this happens, right? You know, I've read a lot about Cornel West. I've read a lot of stuff. I've seen him in person at a rally before. I've watched a lot of his videos. That said, I'm calling a spade a spade. This motherfucker is selling us some bullshit. Whether or not he really wants to, whether, you know, what, I don't know what's going on. All I know is he's selling us some bullshit.
Suspicious of. I've got deep libertarian sensibilities in that regard.
Andrea also said she's against cancel culture and ultimately went back on Spotify.
I just, like... We're talking about censorship, and it's also like, what? Like someone removed their own catalog from Spotify as a protest is equivalent to someone being deported for being a communist in 1931. Like, I'm just like, I'm trying to figure out, like, is Cornel West like on LSD right now? Like, is he on drugs? Like, where and how did these like things come out of his brain? Like, can someone explain this with like some sort of I'm sorry, like, what the fuck? All right, so now we're gonna get into the main question here. So I know this is all the prologue so that I can show you that this guy is, you can't fuck with him anymore. It's over. Like, whatever there was possibly, like the possibilities. I know people are mourning the alternate timelines, the branch universes. We're not in those branch universes, motherfucker. You got to build a time machine. You got to build like that quantum many worlds machine from the show Devs. You ever see Devs? Go look it up. It's a great show. Anyway, so let's check this out.
So, Democracy Now!, we ask very critical questions. I also want to read from a New Republic article about your candidacy and about the People's Party. The article...
Okay, so here we go again, the People's Party. So again, now, whether or not Amy Goodman is asking critical questions, I'm glad that Cornel West is being asked this question, but I mean, it's Amy Goodman. We all know that Amy Goodman, she's not going to be able to ask Cornel West in an aggressive way that he needs, right? She's going to ask him the question. Cornel West is going to gish gallop, and then she's not going to follow up. So that's a problem, right? That's a problem. And this is what I'm talking about. When you see, like, people in media, you see this all the time on YouTube now. People are afraid because, I respect this person, whatever. Like, so again, whatever you think of these people, I'm just saying we ask critical questions as a cope, like, because she's not about to ask that critical of a question, and she's going to let him gish gallop, and he's just going to move on and change the subject afterward. But just watch the show.
States, quote, while the party began in 2017 with noble roots to form a new political party independent from corporate money and influence, it's been mired in troubling allegations as well as broader organizational dysfunction, numerous sources of corroborated sexual harassment allegations against party founder Nick Brana. Last year, former party member Paula Jean Swearingen said she'd witnessed Brana try to force himself onto former party executive director Anna Day, who confirmed the allegations herself. Numerous party board members were apparently forced out for encouraging investigations into the allegations and questioning whether Brana was still fit to lead the party.
So again, keep in mind, this motherfucker went on a ranting and raving session like a total fucking, like, guy who just escaped an insane asylum about censorship. I remember the communists in the 1950s being deported. The censorship is so extreme. And then now Amy Goodman is asking him, like, hey, by the way, the party you're running for just totally censored everybody who's looking into this. Like, I mean, and it's like, I'm telling you, if this were anyone else, everyone else in the left would be like, grifter. I'm telling you, man, if this were literally anybody else, y'all would be like, oh, well, this is obviously a scam. And I'm not trying to say that, I know a lot of people are waking up to that now, but I mean, I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, this is a scam if I've ever seen one, the scammiest scam. And again, I don't want to say that Cornel West is in on it necessarily in his mind, like he is like, I am scamming my people that I have built a great relationship with, and I'm now going to cash in as a retirement plan. I don't know if it's at that level of consciousness, right? But I do know at the very least it's subconscious, right? He is okay that the People's Party censors people willy-nilly. It's okay that the People's Party besmirches the name of Martin Luther King Jr. and does right-wing whitewashing of Martin Luther King Jr. It's okay that the People's Party likes to say the N-word. It's okay that the People's Party kicks out transgender people. It's okay that the People's Party doesn't pay their employees and volunteers. It's okay, right? And when you justify all these different things subconsciously, right, he understands that he's in on the scam. Now, again, there are multiple levels of our minds, right? Things can be in the subconscious before they reach the conscious level of thought. That's where I think we're at. But either way, he is in on the scam. That is verifiable. So let's watch.
Quote. Brana has also praised the prominent anti-vaxxer Robert Kennedy Jr., who's also running for president, but as a Democrat. He described Kennedy as a, quote, courageous leader whose environmental and vaccine advocacy has illuminated issues that few dare to confront.
So look at Cornel West. Now, again, I talk about body language on my show. This is something that, I had to learn about body language the hard way. Being an autistic person, being sheltered as a kid, I didn't learn any of this as a kid. To me, this is all like I had to learn how body language functions. And I can tell you, I do this shit when it comes to Elon Musk. I do this shit when it comes to Jordan Peterson. People like to pretend that they're thinking, right? So that it puts people in like in a more agreeable mindset. People interpret this. Regular people that learn body language when they're a kid, like normal people, unlike me, like this is just second nature. Oh, like, oh, Cornel West is thinking. I respect Cornel West. He's thinking. So if he's thinking, that means it's going to be a good answer, right? So now, am I saying that Cornel West is consciously like, I'm going to pretend to think here? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it's all subconscious. He is just running on a script right here, and the script is a scam. The script was written by scammers, and he was handed the script, and he is reading it out with any critical eye whatsoever, and that means he's in on the scam. I'm sorry.
So he's the founder of the party that you're running with, the People's Party. Talk about why you chose the People's Party, and if you would like to respond to those allegations.
He's thinking hard. Look, everybody, Cornel is thinking. Like, I mean, like, again, now some people are saying this is the first time he's heard about it. Bullshit. This guy, founding member of the People's Party, he self-proclaims as on the advisory board or whatever. This is the first time he's heard about this? Bullshit. And if that's the case, now, if you want me to believe that, he's already unfit because his judgment is just fucking bad. I mean, I don't even know how you would explain that level of just, like, shelteredness. I don't know how that's even possible, right? And again, you put that with all the other things going on Kim Iverson's show, Russell Brand's show, doing all this other stuff, very questionable stuff, right? So again, I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't care how hard you look like you're thinking. It's just not going to work on me.
And also the bigger point of why you didn't choose, for example, if you wanted to be outside the race, the Green Party, which has more ballot access. But that's a lot there, Cornel.
He's thinking.
Yeah, no, indeed, and I appreciate that question too, my dear sister. I mean, I have a great love for my Green Party brothers and sisters.
Now, again, I just want to use the rhetorical term gish gallop. So we start off the answer with, oh, thank you for that question. Oh, by the way, that question is amazing. In fact, let me tell you again how great that question is. The Green Party, oh my God, they're so amazing. Right, it's gish gallop. It's like, what the fuck is this guy talking? And that's the point. That's what the whole point is. So let's keep going. This is some really fucked up shit, man. And I'm going to be honest with you, if this were anybody else, you would see the left wing online pitchforks. I'm telling you, if this were anybody else, they're going easy on Cornel West. That's the thing about Cornel West right now, is he doesn't understand that he is playing this game on easy mode right now. People have not, give this shit in a couple more months, and again, I hope people are gonna treat him like I am in this instance. This is total grifter shit, right? And again, if you can't answer this stuff, you just went on a big tirade about how someone removing their own song from Spotify is censoring Joe Rogan, equivalent to someone being deported for being communistic in the 1950s, right? He just made this grandiose comparison, and now this is what we get. So check this out.
Worked twice with them, and so I have nothing against their third-party operations. It would be nice if we had even a coming together, but that's something that is for a different show. But in terms of the history of the People's Party, I was there at the founding. There's no doubt about that. And I've been a kind of honorary member of the board, even though I haven't participated, so I haven't followed all of the insides and outsides.
So you're a founding member, and you're an honorary member of the board. What does that mean? Is that the same board that half the board got fired overnight, even though that's like an undemocratic move because they were like, let's investigate Nick Brana's sexual pestery behavior? I mean, again, man, I'm sorry. And also, yeah, I was a founding member, and then I never looked anything. I just muted all of the people involved, and then just decided, you know what? Let me run for president without talking to any of these people. Again, if he wants us to believe this, then I don't know what to tell you. If he is trying to make us believe that this is the first he's hearing of it, he is lying to us. And if he is lying to us, whether intentionally or not, whatever it is, it's a defense mechanism, whatever you want to say, he is in on the scam. There is no other possibility. I know it's hard to believe. I know it's, oh my God, it's so shocking. But this guy is lying to us, and he is trying to craft a narrative that's just not in congruence with reality. I don't know what to fucking tell you here.
Of what has happened. It strikes me that there's been some very bad and ugly moments. There's no doubt about that. But I don't want to adjudicate as to who actually is guilty or who's actually innocent, because
we're not talking about guilty versus innocent. Whether or not you want to adjudicate, whatever, look at this, oh, gish gallop, right? The point is, there is a key part that Amy Goodman brought up, and that the board was censored. Like, again, you just did this big speech about censorship. Oh my God, it reminds me of 5,000 different indigenous leaders and communist leaders. Let me just get their names out there so I seem smarter than I am and more respectful than I am, right? So again, like, if this were anybody else, y'all would be saying, oh, this guy's a piece of shit, let's just move on. But, and I get it, I know it's hard to see this sometimes. There's all kinds of people that, like, just, like, fall apart when they're older in age and they lose their judgment, and it's sad to see. We see it all the time. And again, so, but, you know, come on, man, this is some crazy ass shit.
Just don't know. But there has to be accountability, and especially when it comes to sexual harassment in terms of sisters of any color, those are very, very important.
Now, again, just actions speak louder than words. You can't say there has to be accountability and then just, like, hop on the motorcycle with the sex pest in question, you know, and just zoom away. That's not how it fucking works. You know, actions speak louder than words. If you think there has to be accountability, say on the show, I'm going to suspend my campaign until I look into it, or something. You know, just give us something. Instead, we're going to get excuses.
Issues to wrestle with and very serious charges in that regard. But as I said before, that for me, I wanted to be able to bring a serious critique to bear on the corporate duopoly.
And you failed. I'm sorry, you failed. If you wanted to do that, you would run as a Democrat. Look at Bernie Sanders. He ran as a Democrat both times. He's an independent. He has been an independent his whole life. He ran as a Democrat. Why? Because he understood if you run as a Democrat, you get a lot more people paying attention to you. And what happened with Bernie Sanders? A lot of fucking motherfuckers paid attention to him. Now everyone knows who Bernie Sanders was. Bernie Sanders went from that loser from the state that no one's ever heard of, right, to, I don't know, literally a household name. Everyone's heard of him and everyone knows what he stands for, whether or not they agree, you know. And it's like, if Cornel West wanted to take a critique to the duopoly, he would actually take it to the duopoly, right? This is the thing, is like, he wants to critique the duopoly and all this stuff. You can't critique a fucking duopoly when you're standing on like a life raft in the middle of the Pacific Ocean with not a single like microphone in sight, and you're just, no one's around you, like you're screaming into the void, motherfucker. Like, I don't know, like, and that's the other thing about the third party scam, and I just need to mention the third party scam. I said this before. I voted my first election. I voted in the Democratic primary for Bernie Sanders. Obviously, in 2016, things did not go my way. So I, living in a blue state, voted for Jill Stein in the Green Party. And I was like, all right, I'm going to see what the Green Party is all about. I'll join their thing and all this. And then what happened after 2016? They disappeared. They went radio silent. And then Jill Stein did this like money laundering, fundraising bullshit. And then she stole all the money and never did what she promised, right? So I'm like, oh, that's a scam, right? That's a fucking scam. Shit. Well, I fell for the scam once. Instead of falling for the scam over and over again, let me move on. And I did. So you're supposed to tell me that Cornel West, who's, you know, and I'd like to think he's smarter than me. I'm not trying to, you know, he can't understand, like, over the course of his longer life that the third party scam is a scam. Really? 30, 40 years of third parties just failing every single time? Really? And he can't tell it's a scam? Like, and again, that's already disqualifying. Like, I don't even know what to tell you, right? Like, that is a disqualifying moment right there. If he is supposed to, he's just so dumb. Look at me. I'm so dumb. Look how uninformed I am. I'm so ignorant. I know nothing. Look at me. I'm the least informed person in the world. I don't even know what third parties are. Like, that's what we're supposed to take. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't believe it.
And the People's Party, in its inception and in its vision, is a populist one. So you got a number of different voices. It's heterogeneous. It is very loose. A lot of people say, well, is it an organization at all? I mean, it does anything.
So note, this is a big tell. I want to play this part again, because this is part of it that is irrefutable, verified evidence that he knows the criticism, and he purposefully did not acknowledge it until he was asked about it in a live interview. And this also is evidence that I believe that he is in on the scam. He's already got his mind made up on the subject, right? So look at this.
It is very loose. A lot of people say, well, is it an organization at all?
That's a big critique. That's a big critique that people like me in my position, and, you know, other people in left-wing media and all that kind of stuff, you know, you see like this in journalistic media that's reported in the People's Party. They say, yeah, there's very good points to say there's not even an organization, you know, like, and so the fact that he knows that critique and he's willing to just say it so flippantly means he's been in conversations with these critiques present, and he has still chosen the side of I want to be a white person to say the N-word all the time because that's how cool I am. Look at me, I hate trans people. Look at me, anti-vaxxer. Look at me, Martin Luther King was actually anti-woke. Martin Luther King would be a right-winger now, right? Like, that, he's already made up his mind, and he chose that motherfucking group. That's just, I need you to understand, he chose the right-wing, anti-vaxxer, anti-woke freaks over you. And if you're a leftist, that's who I'm talking to. He chose them over you. I don't know what else to tell you. That's fundamentally what this is. He knows the critique. This is not, he wasn't, oh, I never heard of this before. Like, no, obviously he's heard of this before. I just showed you evidence, right? So, and he fundamentally, again, he watches Russell Brand's show every day in his own words. He chose the fucked up freaks over solidarity. He chose the fucked up freaks over peace and love. He chose the fucked up freaks over transgender people, gay people. He chose the fucked up freaks over literally any minority group. That's just what the decision was. And if that's the decision, we got to call a spade a spade. The guy's grifting our shit hard. He wants to use his legacy to get some cash. Now, again, I'm willing to say maybe it's not in the conscious level of thinking yet. It's possible. But at the very, very least, the floor here is that it's in the subconscious level of thinking. How else would you explain this behavior?
Oh, I mean, does anything hold it together and so forth and so on? Well, we shall see. Those are very important questions. I don't want to act as if they aren't serious challenges. But I think that if we can deliver in such a way that we are treating each and every working person and poor people of any color with great respect in this campaign.
Actions speak louder than words. The actions are, you are defending a sex pest. You are defending a scam artist. You are going on right-wing shows and praising them. So when you say, oh, some communist got deported, whatever amount of years ago, let me say their name real quick for credentials, that doesn't mean anything. Your words ring hollow. So again, some people have asked me to talk about this. I thought, you know what, why not? I'm high. This will be fun. Make some content out of it. People, you're not going to see this coming. Motherfuckers are going to be like, oh, Andrea made a video on Saturday. Holy shit. Well, there you go. Let's just play it out.
If we can raise voices to shape the discourse and dialogue in this campaign.
Magical thinking, like, oh, don't worry, all of the shitty things that I've said and done and the people I've enabled, that's fine because in the future we're going to do better. Trust me, bro. We're going to do so many great things in the future. Like, I know I've done a lot of shitty things very recently. Don't worry about that. Because the future, the thing that we don't have any evidence on has, it's going to be great.
If we can not just bring pressure to bear, but begin to point out that the choice between the neo-fascist brother Trump, criminal in so many ways, and the milquetoast Biden, who's so tied into corporate.
Again, Gish Gallop, question. How do you feel about the fact that your party fired, aka censored, people on the board for even starting an investigation? Question. How do you feel about the guy who is in charge of the party you're operating under being credibly accused of sexual harassment? Answer. I think the duopoly is bad. Like, again, I'm telling you, man. Like, there's a couple options here. One, Cornel West somehow managed to pretend to be smart for like 70 years and we all just didn't notice. I don't know about that, but it's possible. I personally think he was an intelligent person and he lost his damn mind. That's the only option that I can really see. Like, again, people have lost their people when they become old, they lose their minds. The pandemic broke people's brains. Donald Trump broke people's brains. This like focus on this like theoretical, magical realignment bullshit. I don't know what to tell you, but all I do know is Cornel West right now is not the same as Cornel West 20 years ago. And if you're still batting for this guy, you got fucking scammed. You're part of the scam. I don't know what else to tell you. You are part of the scam, and I know it's uncomfortable. I understand it's uncomfortable. Being a trans person, I see this a lot. People that when I was a kid, I respected, artists, people that make video games, people that make cartoons, people that make music, people that write books, all kinds of people that I used to adore when I was young over the last couple of years have come out hating transgender people. What do I do with that information? I go, yeah, never meet your heroes. Move on. Maybe at the very least try my best to separate art from the artist if I can, right? And it's like, that's just part of it. That's part of the process. And if you can't let go of Cornel West at this point, you can still adore the shit that he did before. You can still adore the way that he maybe helped shape your thinking when you were a kid, when you were a teenager, when you were in college, whatever. That's fine. But at this point in time, it's all in on the grift. I don't know what else to say. There's no other option here. If you want to present another option, I'm willing to listen, but I can't see it. I don't know what else to say.
Wealth and corporate power, they can have austerity in the recent debt ceiling agreement and still allow the military expansion, that we might be able to go much further than a lot of people think. But that history, has to be wrestled with. I don't want to downplay that at all.
I love that. Like, in the middle of his ranting and raving session, he's like, I don't want to downplay this, as he's just spent the last 5 minutes downplaying it. Like, I don't want to downplay this, but I'm going to downplay it anyway. Right? That's essentially the thought process. I don't want to do this, but I'm doing it. So just, thought I'd let you know that I don't want to, but I'm doing it anyway.
Hope that we really do keep the focus, though, on what can be done at this particular moment, not to erase the history, but to make sure that as we make history in this moment, that I want to make sure that we don't erase history, but really I'd prefer if you just forgot about all of that stuff. You know what I mean? I don't want to sit here and say we should erase history, but please, can you just forget about this? Like, I'm sorry, man. This is like some Dave Rubin tier shit. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I know it seems offensive, but just, this is some really dumb shit. Like, this is dumb shit. And I don't want to be here and sit and, ruin your fucking hero or whatever, but this is some dumb shit. Like, man, oh man, this is dumb ass shit. We are doing all and everything we can.
So, Cornel West,
So we're doing all and everything we can. What? First of all, who is we? Does we include the guy who thinks Martin Luther King is a right-winger? Does we include the guy who doesn't like transgender people? Does we include the guy who hates vaccines? Who's we? Right? And then also, you're doing everything you can? What? Obviously not, right? Like, just based on all of this answer, right? So it's just gish gallop.
Poor people and working people are at the center.
And what would you do about immigration rights right now in this country?
So notice, again, Amy Goodman, question? How do you feel about the People's Party censoring their own board and also the guy in charge being credibly accused of sexual harassment? Well, I think we need to do good things. I like good things. Good things are great. And bad things, I don't want to erase the bad things, but I don't want to talk about them either. And, and then Amy Goodman's follow-up question, let's change the subject. And that's the problem with media. You see this on mainstream media, and you see it on Democracy Now! These people are friends. If this were anyone else, would Amy Goodman let this stupid Gish Gallop answer get away? No. But because it's Cornel West, everyone. Now again, I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you, but this is some bullshit. This is some fucked up shit. You can't just ask a question like that, get this stupid fucking answer that Cornel West gave, and then just move on. That's not critical questions. You can't say, we ask critical questions on this show, and then let him get away with that. I'm sorry. This is bullshit. So again, I missed this yesterday when I was doing my show yesterday. I would have talked about this yesterday. I missed it. But there you go. Here's the surprise Saturday edition of, I don't even know how long this was. I'm really high right now, so I'm just ranting and raving. I made a 40-minute video. Jesus fucking Christ. My God. Anyway, people have asked me my thoughts on this video. I didn't want to wait until Monday. My verdict, in on the scam. Now, I'm willing to believe that Cornel West has gotten to the conscious level where he's like, yeah, I'm just scamming these people for my retirement. I'm willing to believe that. I don't necessarily believe that. I don't think that that's 100% true. But I think that the only two options that now, like compared to Tuesday, my belief was either he's dumb as shit and he's like, I don't know, like he's got some like dementia maybe. I don't even know how else you would explain it. Going on, or he's in on the scam. Now I think he's definitely on the scam regardless. Whether or not it's subconscious leveling or conscious level of thought, that's the 50-50 for me. He's in on the scam. That's 100% certain. But whether or not he realizes it, right, he's reckoned with it on a personal level yet, that remains to be seen. And we're going to probably get the answer to that during this campaign. So There you go, folks. That's all I got.